Welcome to Natalie Saves the World, one podcast at a time. A space for honest conversations about mental health, self-love, relationships, living more consciously, finding clarity, and spreading light through all of life's challenges. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Natalie Saves the World, one podcast at a time. Today, I am joined by Shelley Badayos. Today's conversation is one that I've really been looking forward to because we're talking about men and dating, something very fascinating. I've done an episode previously on women and dating, and today we're going to talk about men and dating, but not from a place of frustration or complaint, from a place of genuine curiosity and compassion. So today, my guest is Shelley Badayos. She's a certified life coach and dating mentor who works specifically with single men who are ready to stop playing games and start building something real. Shelley came to this work through her own experience with toxic relationships. And what she discovered was that men and women are often speaking completely differently emotional languages. And that when men finally learn to close that gap, everything really changes. She's the founder of Dating with Confidence, a program helping men rebuild their self-worth, understand what women actually want, and show up in dating with clarity, courage, and authenticity, not with scripts or strategy. So Shelley, welcome to the show. Really excited to have you here.
Yay, 10 out of 10 intro. I
It was a
love
long
it.
one.
I know.
But yeah, would love to hear just a little bit about your background and how you got into this space story.
I love it because my story can come from a lot of different angles. It can come from my personal experience, how I got here serendipitously too. Because honestly, besides my experience with relationships and dating, I also came from a career that I wasn't really enjoying anymore. And for some reason, I was brought into this space too. So I used to work as a registered nurse before.
Oh, wow.
And
Such a big change.
I know. And I was like, but ever since then, I've been always interested in psychology and human behavior and also relationships and dating because I have my fair share of experience in that. And so during COVID, I was like, oh, okay, I don't see myself working as a nurse for a long time.
Such a hard time for nurses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm going to try applying outside of the hospital, like a different nursing job. I thought I was applying for a nursing job when somebody gave me a call and asked me a series of questions thinking that was a job interview. They started saying, oh no, this is an interview to get into coaching school.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
coaching school? I was like, what's that? And then they explained it. And I was like, I still didn't get it, but I enrolled. I was like, okay, something's happening here, so I'm just gonna take it. And so that's when also it started. That started my journey. I decided to basically now build my own business around the coaching space. I started working as a life coach. And of course, as a life coach too, I was going through my own fair shares of struggles with relationships. And I was noticing that as I was also struggling with my relationships, more people who are struggling with their relationships, I started working with more. And then I started specializing in relationships and dating. So after that, I noticed that more single people were coming to me for dating advice. And then after that's more men. And
Interesting.
so actually I was going through my own thing too when it comes to dating. And then I noticed like what I'm going through and what these people are telling me, what all of these men are telling me, we're actually just wanting the same thing. And I was like,
Really?
it's just there's a lot of misinformation about what women really want, especially like how social media is right now and the expectations that are being put on men. It's just like, okay, so I want to really represent women on what they really want to also help men on dating because honestly, from their perspective, they're also majorly struggling too. It's
Yeah.
really hard for them. They just need a lot of guidance. And I guess what came out of this is what became my mission and vision is I want to help make the world a better place, one good boyfriend at a time.
Ha, and one podcast at a time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, no, I mean, I've had another dating coach on here, Jonathan Aslay, and we actually talked about, so he's very similar to you. He's a dating coach more so for women and kind of giving the male perspective. And it sounds
Yeah.
like you're kind of doing the opposite, helping men, giving them the female perspective.
Right. Yeah. It's just honestly, just in general, stepping back, gender aside, like we're just humans. We all desire connection, but it's just like how women want it is just different from how men want it. And it's just there's a lot of miscommunication happening. But if we learn how to speak each other's languages and what is important to us, both like psychology, biologically, whatever, it's gonna make more sense and we're gonna have better connections and deeper understanding towards one another.
Yeah, so true. I think there's a lot of weird stuff happening, especially in the online world, like with other podcasts. And there's a lot of like toxic content that's kind of demonizing the other gender. And it's very bizarre and it shouldn't be this way. And we're all human, exactly. Like you said, there shouldn't be
Yeah.
like a war of the genders going on. So you described being in toxic relationships yourself as part of what sparked this work. What did that experience teach you about how men and women communicate differently in relationships?
Well, I love that question. Wow, I love that. Okay. Okay. So just to give you context, us women, we are very emotional. And the reason why we're very emotional is because way back, like Stone Age wise, we're the nurturers. We're the
Yeah.
one who's supposed to carry the baby, take care of the family. So this is why we're so emotional and we have high intuition. And what
Mm,
we value a lot when we want to nurture a family is safety.
right.
And I think this is what men don't understand. Men only understand that if they become the provider, that's it. And there's more to that. There's more to safety for us women that's important. And that's what I've noticed with my own previous relationships too. And honestly, it's not just because of that, it's because also my upbringing, my family dynamics, my culture, and what I've
Mm,
deemed to be normal, right? A lot of it is
yeah.
also stemming from childhood. And so when I was in my own fair share of like toxic relationships, I thought that being called a bitch and stupid was normal because I hear that from my family a lot. And so I was tolerating that a lot in relationships until it came to a point where I had a relationship where this guy actually raised his hand on me. And I was like, no,
Oh
this is
no.
not it. This is not what I want. I know I get spanked a lot when I was little, but not that. Not that. I was like, that's when the aha, like I had a huge aha there. I was like, this is not what I want to continuously happen to me. I don't want to like lower my worth just to fit into somebody's standards. And I think when it comes to men too, that's what's happening as well as there's a lot of people pleasing too, so that women can choose them. It's the same thing, but they're approaching it the wrong way because they think that if they look better, if they have six pack abs, if they're more established, if they're whatever it is,
Hmm.
that women will choose them. But honestly, for men, they're more focused on the physical appearance because that's what they deem to be important to see if the woman that they're choosing is fertile, right? They want somebody who can carry their seeds. That's why men see physical appearance as more important when it comes to attraction.
Does that have to do with youth, like the reproductive factors?
Yeah, biologically, it's to prevent us from getting extinct. That's our way of like reproducing and making sure that the humans continue to exist, right? It's normal. That's why it's very normal for men to have higher libido than women because that's their job,
Mm,
right? But they think that it's the same for us, but it's not. Since we're nurturers and we value emotions a lot and
yeah.
safety, it's different. We relate more in an emotional sense. So that's where the disconnect happens. And I noticed with my toxic relationships too, besides their own childhood issues and me settling for these things, a lot of the men who were approaching me were
Hmm.
also having the same struggles too
Really
when it comes to the upbringing, family, but they're approaching it differently. And so that's why
interesting.
the women don't feel safe, right?
So
So
they're
it's like
approaching it
that.
how so?
It's more so they're coming from a place of insecurity, you know?
Mm,
So
yeah.
insecurity looks so different from women and men.
Really?
For us, insecurity might look like clinging
Yeah.
more. Like,
Anxious
oh,
attachment.
exactly. Yeah. For men, it's more so like pursuing them more. Pursuing them more and appearing
Oh,
like, you know how like people sometimes they give off a vibe and you just cannot pinpoint what's off with them?
yeah.
And they feel like they're putting a facade. Like I don't feel like he's really genuine
Authentic.
about it or authentic about it.
Mm,
It's because yeah, they're performing. And us women, we can easily detect that
interesting.
because we have high intuition, and this is what
Yeah.
feels off-putting for us. Sometimes we can't pinpoint it, and
Feels like
so
BS.
exactly. And
Yeah.
of course, We have high raters for that because we value safety, right? And as a woman, it's hard to live in a society like where you're not really sure if you're gonna get catcalled one day, groped the next day. It's like we're always on high alert. And
Yeah.
if you see, this is why we're so easy to catch like people who are performing when it comes to like dating or like social
Really?
interactions. That's how insecurity shows for men.
So men who are insecure are like more pursuant of women. Like they pull out all the stops. They try to impress her, woo her
Mhm.
with like money or status or fancy experiences. And women detect that, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
We
they're
tend to
very performative.
see
Like,
through it.
yeah, and this is what I hate about like social media nowadays is like the red pill movement promotes so much of the performative dating is what I
Yeah.
call it. Is like, okay, if you have all of these things, if you know what to say, what to do, like the pickup artist stuff like that, sure, you're gonna get the
Yeah.
woman, but you're not gonna keep a long-term relationship.
It's very bizarre, the whole dating landscape nowadays. I myself am single. So this was really my first time kind of dating since 2017 when my ex and I first started dating. And we actually met from a dating app. I know, like, I definitely want to ask you some questions about dating apps,
Yeah.
but we met from a dating app in 2017. And I just think that since then, the apps have really changed a lot. Back in 2017, the intention of these apps was to get people to meet in real life as soon as possible. And now, what seems to be happening, what I'm noticing going back on these apps, is that there's a lot of flakiness, there's a lot of ghosting, and it seems like almost nobody really wants a genuine relationship from these apps. They want to play on there, treat it like a game. Maybe they're using it for validation, to feel good about themselves, to see who they can, get a swipe from. But it just feels very almost degrading to me in my experience, as I consider myself to be attractive, educated. I have my own business. Like I'm very much, as you said, I can kind of see through the BS and the performative fakeness of apps. And typically if I see someone who, let's say their photos are like them posing with a motorcycle, them posing with, on a private jet, them
A
posing.
fish.
Yeah. Oh, the fish one never. I think like that's like a huge turn off the fish. But anytime it just looks performative in the app. Like they're really trying to signal status and wealth. To me, it's almost like a turnoff in the apps. When I see someone trying to give off that facade, I immediately am like, nope. And I'll swipe left on someone like that. But then I don't really know what women are doing. Like my photos are very not flashy as well. I try to be like genuine and sincere and show, different photos where I look better, where I look worse. Sometimes makeup, sometimes no makeup. And I try to give like a true reflection of how I genuinely look. And that's also part of the problem with apps is just how fake it all is. It's really just like a persona. And so I think a lot of women and men are putting up photos that they think will just get clicks or will get swipes rather than actually trying to really attract a true connection, a mate, a partner, etc. And it's just a very weird time for the apps. I don't
Yeah.
know. Do you have any insight or any thoughts as to like what's going on? How
Well,
did we get here?
yeah. No, I mean, you're right. Apps are meant to be for like you just talking and
Validation.
taking it out, right? That's it. That's the
And,
yeah. And this is
yeah,
what I tell my clients too. If you are using apps as 100% way to meet women, you're gonna experience dating burnout fast.
yeah,
Just because, like right now, how everything is accessible. We have social media, everything's instant. Our dopamine is at an all-time high. We're just like living in just a lot of
right,
instant gratification. This is the problem. And so this is the reason why a lot of the dating right now is affected because like we want everything in an instant. We expect
right.
organic relationships to unfold in just like one interaction. We expect like once we get somebody's number, we're gonna be talking instantly, immediately back and forth. But a genuine and organic connection takes time. Let's think about nature. When you plant something, it doesn't grow overnight. And a
Right.
lot of our interactions before, since social media wasn't a thing, our interactions were more like based on patience and a lot of like building foundations with other people. This is why we have more patience with,
Empathy.
yeah, exactly, with taking
Hmm.
things like a little bit slower, which that's how it's supposed to be. That's why it's easier to connect with other people versus now everyone's just, I want things right now.
Immediate.
Exactly. And so, that's why a lot of people who are specifically solely relying on dating apps, this is the problem too, is because the reason why a lot of people are ghosting, a lot of people are like not showing up is because a lot of them
Avoidant.
they're just like trying to avoid feeling the emotions, trying to really see how it will organically unfold. Or sometimes they use an excuse as like, I don't have time for this, but then they desire that connection. It's just like we're so wired now to have everything in an instant, when
Yeah.
relationships and dating and forming a deeper bond with people doesn't happen in an
Takes time.
instant. Yeah,
Yeah.
it has to be. There's a formula for this, friendship formula coined by, I forgot which psychologist it is, but friendship formula applies to dating too. So basically, in order to form friendships or relationships with somebody, you have to have proximity, duration, and intensity.
Right.
And familiarity. So basically, proximity and familiarity, meaning you guys are in the same group and seeing each other constantly in that group. Like, that's why communities are so important, right? When you see each other in the same community, you develop familiarity to them. And then the duration is like, how long do you guys talk, right? So
Right.
if you want to get to know a person, you increase the duration. That's why you take them out on the dates, right? And then
Right.
intensity is basically how deep your conversations go and how emotionally satisfied are you when you are talking with someone. And so with
Yeah.
dating apps, basically it kind of
None of those. Literally none of
so
those.
it kills
Yeah.
the proximity and familiarity. That's what it helps with
It's
people
like
who are
instant.
yeah, exactly. When people are having a hard time meeting people and probably busy or whatever. But that's what basically it cuts that part off. And then if you don't take that conversation out to a
Into the
date,
real world.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
not going to build the duration and intensity, which is
Right.
very important to establish that deeper connection.
Yeah.
And so this is the problem, is we're skipping a lot of steps.
Yeah.
And these steps are very essential in order for us to form a bond with somebody, to form a very meaningful connection with somebody that
Yeah.
could probably transcend either into a friendship or a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I've noticed with these dating apps that's been really almost demoralizing is this ghosting. Like, what? I guess I'm just curious why, first of all, why are people ghosting? Is it because people have become so avoidant and so uncomfortable with proper rejection? Is it because they think they have a million other options, so they don't even feel the need to give someone a proper rejection or a proper reason as to why they're unmatching them? I had an experience recently. I was on a dating app, I think it was Hinge, and I matched with someone on there, and we were having some back and forth. And it was, first of all, that's rare in and of itself. That almost never happens. Like, I would say probably 80% of the matches I get on these apps, nobody responds. Like, they sit there for months and it's just pure ghosting. So to have any conversation on there is genuinely rare now, which again feels very demoralizing. And then I was having some like banter and back and forth, and it was like, wow, this is so nice. Like, somebody who actually wants to talk and doesn't just immediately unmatch or ghost. What a concept. And then we were just having some banter and back and forth. And I said something like as a joke that clearly he took the wrong way. And then he immediately unmatched me. And if this was in real life, you would ask for context, you would clarify, you would be like, oh, what did you mean by that? I don't understand your joke. But it's very hard to like convey humor and nuance and subtlety just through text only, right? Without even voice or expression, like seeing someone's face. And then the fact that literally instead of like clarifying or asking for additional context or trying to understand, oh, was that a joke? He just unmatched me, ghosted, and said nothing. And it was like really shocking. Like, I was like, whoa, like it felt like a dagger. But I think part of it is just because it's so easy now. And people
It is.
they think that they have endless options because, oh, well, I'll just match with somebody else 2 seconds later. So I'm not going to even regard this person's feelings or give them any explanation as to why. I'm just going to peace out. But it's just very strange. Like, why do you think there's so much ghosting instead of like real, genuine conversations at all on the apps? Because to get to a real life date, you need to first have a conversation, at least a little bit. And instead, people are either just like ghosting or randomly unmatching you for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier. We have access to ghosting now because we're just talking. We're not in
It's so
person.
rude, though. Like, it's so
Yeah.
mean to
No,
me.
but think about it like this. It's like Thank God they did do that because it's not a reflection on you, it's a reflection on their personality. It's
Yeah,
more
of
so like
course.
right now, I think this is the funny thing. Like people who usually ghost are also afraid of confrontation and rejection, and that says a lot about their personality. And probably they don't
Right.
have the emotional capacity to even handle tough
Conversations.
conversations. And that
Right.
is honestly like you don't want that. And the
Yeah.
funny thing is, because if you're familiar with attachment style theory, majority of the people who are really active in dating is mostly avoidance. And so for them,
Yes.
it's easier to just avoid rather
Mm-hmm.
than just say, hey, you know what? I don't think this is going to be a perfect fit. Wishing you all the best. That's it.
I heard on another podcast, I think it was Chris Williamson, they were talking about attachment theory. For the listeners that don't know, there's kind of three main attachment styles. Securely attached, which is they're fully comfortable and safe with a partner and have no issues with attaching to a partner. Anxiously attached, which is what I am, which is you're always worried about the other person leaving you. You're always kind of clingy, kind of worried they're going to leave. And avoidantly attached, which is they want connection, but they're very afraid of it. And so they keep some distance. And they were saying on this other podcast that a lot of what's happening on these apps as well is that it tends to be a lot of avoidant men and anxious women. And
Mm.
the securely attached people have already partnered up. So like I'm 31, by like 30s, what's left on the apps tends to be just those anxious and avoidance. So it's just very interesting and frustrating. And it feels like this continuous cycle. But yeah, I did want to ask, you
Mhm.
tend to specifically work with men who are frustrated with being friend zoned. And I was wondering if you
Yeah.
could get into that a little bit more. Like, why specifically did you notice this trend of men being friend zoned? And why is that something that you wanted to focus on?
Yeah, because a lot of men are playing it too safe. The problem right now, too, is a lot of the great men who are like emotionally available, who are
They're
like
all
really,
attached,
yeah,
they're
like,
all in
no, no,
relationships.
no,
So I
not
was like,
even. The problem is, and this is the problem, they don't know how to do it. They don't
mm,
know. And so this is the people that I usually work with. It's like the men who wants a relationship and the men who can show up for a relationship, but they just don't know how to put themselves out there. And
mm,
so the problem is they're playing it too safe because funny thing is a lot of men are really scared of rejection. Like it's a
yeah,
big hit on their ego. And so
yep,
they do two things. They overcompensate and they perform or they play it too safe. And what
mm,
happens is like when it comes to like dating, here's what I tell my clients. Like, there are always like three types of women when you're meeting somebody in person, whether it's whatever type of scenario it is. The uninterested woman who just won't show any interest in you, neutral women who are like on the fence. They're not really sure if they see you as a friend or a romantic partner, but they're dwindling there. And then
mm-hmm,
like the interested one who's like giving you all the cues and signs and just like, yeah, I really like you, right? And
yeah,
usually what happens is men who are getting friend zoned are usually either they already have the neutral women like starting to like them, but they're not gaining any forward momentum just because they're so worried about, but what if I lose the
rejection.
friendship? Yeah, but what if I lose her?
Mm,
But what if she doesn't like me the same way or she doesn't feel the same way? Or just like taking that initiative
yeah,
and assertiveness to just take things forward with more clarity, the neutral woman become uninterested. Or like an interested woman who's like showing all the cues and they're not doing anything. Of course, the interested woman will think like, oh, probably he doesn't like me, and so I'm gonna go back to
yeah,
uninterested, right? And now they're always complaining like, oh, I'm wondering why I'm always getting friend zoned, and it's just like
mm-hmm,
because you're not taking the initiative or the steps needed to get there. But a lot of the times, there's also a lot of the mindset work there too, and because probably they see themselves as not worthy or
mm,
they don't think that they're already self-prophesizing too. Like I noticed that nobody or like how their upbringing, like they noticed like nobody would really want me if I tell them what I really feel. So I'm just gonna keep it safe and play it safe so that I won't
ah,
lose this. Yeah. So this is a lot of times this is the reason why a lot of great men get friend zoned. And then sometimes that's the problem too with also the dating apps with men just keeping the conversation in the freaking chat and never
yeah,
putting it out.
real
Also,
life.
exactly, because they're also scared. They have this fear. A lot of the men, because they're having a hard time getting connected with their emotions, a lot of them have this fear of like being seen. Seen in a
Mm-hmm.
sense of like, if you find out who I really am, I'm scared that you won't love me anymore. And it's another form of rejection. It's always about the rejection that these men are very scared of. And you
Mm-hmm.
have to really work around that because in order for us to connect better with men, They have to emotionally connect to us. That's how we form
Yeah.
attractions and bonds towards men. But if they cannot do that, of course, we're going to see them as friends. We're going to just see them as just like, oh, platonic relationship. It's not
Mm-hmm.
going to progress anywhere. And
Right.
a lot of them just think like, oh, I'm macho. I have car. I have this
Mm-hmm.
money. No, it's not that. We
Yeah.
want somebody who can basically show up for us during the times that we don't feel good,
Yeah.
who has our back whenever everything is against us, like
Yeah.
the safety aspect of it,
For
you
sure.
know? Yeah.
I think all those things, the superficial things, whether it's looks or money or status, all of that can go away, right? All of that can fade. Ultimately, it comes down to compatibility, shared goals, shared values. And I think, I mean, I've talked about this on previous episodes. There's also something very bizarre happening right now with masculinity. I think there was some stat in, I want to say it was like Diary of a CEO's, Stephen Bartlett's podcast, and it was talking about how I think it was around 25% of young men ages 18 to 24, something like that, have never asked a woman out in real life. Again, going back to, the fear of rejection. And I think part of it has come from everything being online. So they're worried that, they're going to be filmed. They're worried someone's going to call Me Too on them or publish it online or who knows. And then it's also, there's something very interesting happening in terms of gender roles right now, because I feel like what's happened is that women are now more educated than we've ever been. We are trained to be hypergamous by nature, meaning we want someone with the same socioeconomic status as us or above. And so that pool of men who are above us has become smaller and smaller. So that top tier of men, that let's say top 10% of men, is supposedly getting like all of the attention and all of the likes on the dating apps. And then there's this massive pool of women that are all competing for that small percentage of men. So for somebody like me, I feel like, wow, there's nobody who meets my standards on the dating apps. There's nobody out there for me. And then that bottom 90% of men on the dating apps is feeling the same way as me. They're feeling like, wow, like no women seem to want me. They only want that top 10% of men. Ultimately, it's just so funny because, the perception of like your market value in the dating market versus exactly as you mentioned, like a long-term, real lasting bond are so different. Like, okay, great, you got more clicks on the app, but does that mean you're actually going to be compatible with that person for 10 years, for marriage, for life? Probably not. And to find like a real lasting connection, exactly as you said, you need all those factors, the proximity, the timing, the depth. I think that's also what the apps have now distorted, is that people aren't willing to give someone a chance if they're just okay on the apps. They want that 10 out of 10, punching above their weight, if you will. And they think that because, oh, I have this massive pool of people online, so therefore, why would I bother shooting my shot with someone who's just an 8 out of 10 when I could pursue the 10 out of 10? I don't know. It's just very strange, all of it.
Yeah. This is why dating burnout happens when you focus
Yeah,
so much on
it's already happening, honestly. If I would
apps.
ask my single friends, I would say 90% either delete the apps on and off because of this fatigue, or they just don't use them anymore. I'm reaching that point as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
I'm
because it
burnt
promotes a
out.
lot of like superficiality, right? The social media, the dating apps. But at the same time, before it wasn't the case.
The chemistry.
It's in person. Like this is where you get the
Hmm.
vibe of the person. Because personally, my ex too, like we met on the dating app too. We met on Hinge. And then
Hmm.
like his picture sucks.
Yeah, it
Oh,
wasn't like wowed or anything.
yeah, exactly. I
Yeah,
was just like, oh, but he likes pottery. Let me just swipe. And then he was the first person to actually initiate the conversation and get something outside. And then
which
when
is
I met
so
him in
rare now.
person, wow, I
Hmm.
actually like him and he's pretty more attractive than the pictures.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, this
exactly.
this is the reason why I tell my clients like use dating apps as a way to expand your network, not as the main source of finding people. And this is why you have to go out and touch grass and really
Hmm.
join and familiarize yourself with what's going on in your community
Right.
and the things that you like doing as a hobby and connect with people there. Like really bring that organic connections back because this is where you will meet somebody.
I very much agree. And like, I'm very active in my community and I go to in-person events like at least once a week, if not multiple times a week. However, I also want to add that it's very rare for someone to get asked out in real life. Again, I don't know. Does that have to do with their whole fear of rejection? Do you think that
Yeah.
it's been heightened because it's like since COVID and since all of this online stuff that people are terrified to ask someone out in real life.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I think for my clients too, I hear with them, they're getting brainwashed on the idea of like, oh, somebody will film me or something like that. Or
Yeah.
if I get rejected, they'll tell the story and I might have a bad rep or something like that. And a lot of the
So
time,
silly.
this is the question that I commonly get is like, how do I approach women in person?
Yeah.
It's just like they forgot. And a lot of like just going back to normal social interactions and just how to interact with people, like you
Right.
have to always interact with people depending on the setting and the context, right? Because people are going to like a lot of my clients were asking like how do you approach somebody at a grocery store, right? Of
Yeah.
course, you're not approaching somebody in a grocery store with an intention to date them. They're not there for dates, right? So, of course, you have to consider the setting and why they're there too. Like, interact with them with just like getting familiar with, let's say, oh, where's the cucumber section at? And this is what I'm hearing too. Like, people already wanting to dig deeper into the deep talks really fast. They say, oh, I hate small talks. Let's just get into the deep conversations fast. But what they don't understand is small talks are the gate to deep conversations. And if you don't pass the small talk, you're
Right.
never going to get that deep conversation. Again, it's the instant thing. Everyone wants things so fast that
Yeah.
they rush into it. And if you rush into it, that's also how you come off as desperate and creepy to women. And you don't
Interesting.
want that. You don't get a woman just because you send them inappropriate messages or pictures or like
Nudes.
that's not the way to a woman's heart.
But why do you think that it's so rare? Like how, I mean, I know that show, The Pickup Artist, was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the whole concept of like pickup artistry is interesting. But why do you think? Because I consider myself to be fairly attractive. I'm very warm. I'm very open. I'm very much like an extrovert. And I go to lots of events in person and I rarely get asked out. Why do you think that? I just mean in general, why are so few? I guess, yeah. Does it come down to like the gender roles? Does it come down to like just changes in society?
There's a lot of changes. Who
Why
wants to
aren't men? I don't know how you feel about this, but if you would ask most of my female friends, I feel like we want men to still be masculine, but men are like confused about how to be masculine now.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And
Yeah,
also like this is funny because men are now having assumptions that if you approach a woman that they're gonna
it's
get massively
creepy.
shut down. Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, we want to be approached, like we
Exactly.
want to be
Yeah.
asked out.
This is
Yeah,
what I mean. The misunderstanding is happening.
right.
And so it's like
Yeah,
sometimes when they do it not half-assed, but it's coming from a place of desperation. So that's why it comes off as creepy.
creepy.
So there is a proper way of doing it. And especially after COVID, I think
Yeah,
it's during that time when we were in COVID that kind of like everyone's social skills dropped.
depleted. Yeah,
Exactly. It's just like
right.
they forgot to just like socialize with people and everyone just got
Mm-hmm.
used to socializing online.
Yeah.
And it's like after that, it's just like, so how do
And then
we
your social
interact?
muscles debilitate. Yeah.
Exactly. How do we interact as normal humans? It's
Yeah.
like God.
I
And so
mean,
that's also
wow.
there too. Yeah.
I have so many. I mean, we could talk about this for hours and hours. I have so many opinions on this. It's yeah, it's very, I think there's definitely a loneliness crisis and a dating crisis. And I very much, that's part of why I started the show, is those are some of my biggest passions. And it's something that I definitely want to help with. Besides just having the podcast, I eventually want to do something in that space of helping people connect in real life, face to face, exactly as you were saying, because so Gen Z, for example, is the most connected online out of any generation. They're constantly on TikTok. They're constantly Snapchatting each other almost 24/7. And yet they're actually, according to the data, the loneliest generation. So clearly these, Snapchats and pseudo connections are not the same as real, genuine face-to-face
Yeah.
bonding. And I think a lot of them don't even know how to do that because they're so addicted to their phones and so just uncomfortable with those possibilities of being rejected in real life. Because I think being rejected online, as painful as it can be, it feels less harsh. And a real rejection in the flesh is a lot more painful and feels more real. Yeah, it's just such a strange time.
Yeah, it's because everything is so fast paced right now too that before at least for us, because I'm in the same age range as you,
Mhm.
basically everyone has a chance to allow themselves to feel their feelings, right? Because you're not overstimulated. You don't have a
Yeah.
lot of these like technologies in front of you. But right now, since
Dopamine.
we exactly, we have a lot of distraction, we can doom scroll, we can do a lot of things, we can whatever.
Look at 20 other people on the app as opposed to the
Exactly.
one person who actually wants to meet you. And
Exactly. It hinders us from allowing ourselves to process and feel our feelings. That's why a lot of people are scared of rejection because they don't know how to handle their emotions when rejection and this is the problem right now. And this is why a lot of people are just so quick to just ghost, get out, or like everything is so fast paced now.
well, I know you've said that a lot of the dating advice out there for men actually makes things worse. What advice do you see men following that's backfiring on them right now?
Oh my God. It's mostly
Is
a
it the looks
lot.
maxing stuff?
It's mostly a lot of the red pill
Right.
movement advice. Oh my
Hyper
God.
masculine.
Yeah, it's just like I get it, yes, but at the same time, it's like it's true in some sort of way to kind of like cultivate your confidence, but at the same
Hmm.
time, they're not touching basis on the like emotional and mental health aspect of it or like the real source
Right.
of like where confidence is because a lot of men think you're going to become more confident if you have a lot of resources. If you are
Right.
looking, if you have money, if you have the status and everything, but that's not true.
It's going to solve all your problems.
Yeah, it's not.
But I also think, like, what type of women are they trying to attract? Because that's essentially they're
Exactly.
going to attract gold diggers. Okay, great. Is that a
Hmm.
high quality match? Is that a
No.
lasting love? Probably not. It's someone who's using you for your status and money.
Again, instant. Everything is so instant. When you get something
Yeah.
instant, you're gonna lose that fast too. So it's
But
like, yeah,
I feel like, I mean, at least for me personally, I could care less if somebody's wealthy and has flash and status. I just want somebody who is, again, aligned with me in terms of like our values, our goals, etc. Yes, I want to be attracted to them, but to me, it's almost like a turnoff when they're just like, look at me and all my money, look at me in this private jet, blah, blah, blah. But so I just wonder then, why do they think that attracts women? Why do they think that women want to see that?
because that's important to them. It's
Oh.
for them. Again, like men, like what they find attractive is what also women find attractive. And that's where the
Oh.
misunderstanding is
So like
happening.
motorcycles and
For
private
them,
jet.
I mean, they could attract like other bros, right? Yeah, but
But no, and again,
it's
I think
like
they would attract like a gold digger or like a woman who doesn't
exactly,
actually want a relationship, who wants his
exactly.
money. So what kind of relationship is that?
Where they
Okay.
put their attention to is how they set their filter and standards when it comes to dating. So if you
Okay.
want somebody who's emotionally available, don't expect to see that somewhere where if your focus is always on your looks. I mean, it's the same thing if you this is the funny thing, like a lot of men say that I want a woman who communicates properly, but they cannot communicate.
Themselves.
Exactly. So it's
Yeah.
just like that. So if you want something as like you're looking for something from another partner, ask yourself, do I also have this? Can I
Right.
provide this for myself or can I also show up in the relationship as that? Or am I the type of person my ideal partner would want?
Hmm.
So that's a good question to ask. It's again instant. It's just fast, quick band-aid solution, but it's not gonna solve what the real problem is long term.
Yeah. And I think that's also one of the many problems with the dating apps is it is so quick. It's like a just gut reaction. But like I said, so people like me who I consider myself to be pretty intelligent, pretty, high quality, looking for something deeper, emotionally intelligent, etc. I intentionally put photos on there that are not flashy and that are not like bikini pics and nudes. But the way the algorithm works is that when you don't show those flashy photos, you tend to be shown less in the
Yeah.
algorithm. So
Hmm.
go figure. The whole thing is just not working clearly. How does a man learn to be genuinely attractive without performing or pretending to be someone he's not?
Well, they have to work on themselves first. It starts with them,
Hmm.
always.
So true.
They have to, because the thing is, with fake performative confidence, it's always just masking insecurity.
Yes, I
My
agree.
definition of confidence is you basically loving yourself, being able to show your strengths and being able to love your flaws at the same time. Like they can coexist. That's where real
Yeah.
confidence comes from. And also owning that.
Mm.
Because a lot of the times this is what I'm noticing about men too, is like they beat themselves up for something that they're not good at. And you cannot love yourself when you hate yourself.
Yeah.
You
So
cannot,
true.
I mean, you can get better if you loathe yourself, but that's not going to help you feel better. There's a lot of deep rooted issues there that you have to address from your upbringing, your beliefs, childhood that you have to address so
Yeah.
that you can allow yourself to just sit with it and accept who you are as a person in general so that the real confidence can shine through because a real confident man is authentic, is
Yeah.
genuine, is able to basically be
Be their full
okay with,
selves.
yeah, be okay with their flaws
Hmm.
despite like what other people think because they don't get validation from other people. Why a lot of men are performative because they care about what women will think of them. And this is fake confidence. If you
Yeah.
just show up as your real self without caring what the wrong women will think, then this
Yeah.
is how you attract the right woman. This is how you cultivate that confidence. And this is how you remove the performative aspect of dating.
So true. No, I very much agree for both men and women. I think,
Yeah.
like me personally, after my whole breakup, I did a lot of work on myself because I realized, okay, I can't attach to somebody else. First of all, I needed to heal from my breakup. But second of all, I can't attach to someone new before I look inward and look at myself and look at what do I need to fix internally before I bring somebody else into the mix. And I think so many people are getting that wrong. They're just like, oh my gosh, I'm this age. I need to meet someone. I need to procreate. I need to date. Okay, that's great. But have you looked within first? Have you worked
Yeah.
on yourself first? And I think a lot of people have not, especially in, certain cities like LA or Miami or what have you. But I think a lot of people are just looking to attach, but they haven't done that inner work on themselves. And it shows. And exactly, I think it's a lot of insecurity. And before you can, if you don't love yourself, how can you love anybody else? As RuPaul says.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
um,
exactly.
well, I want to talk a little bit about dating with confidence. Back to that. What is it? Who is it for? And what does the journey look like?
So, Dating with Confidence is the program that I made for single men who are struggling with dating. So, again, it starts with working on yourself. A lot of inner work. We do a lot
Hmm.
of somatic work to
Wow.
digging into your childhood as well. That's where we start. And then after that is getting clear on your ideal partner so that you know what you're looking for and you're not getting stuck in like putting yourself in the wrong places and meeting the wrong people. And then also now also after all of that, when you're in the right headspace, this is where we're going to apply the dating tips and advice. So you're in the right mindset to apply it so that
Hmm.
it lands properly. You're coming from a place of groundedness and stability. So that's why we're going to cultivate like a genuine, organic confidence from you when you're
Wow.
going out there. Yeah.
Out into the real world. And where
Yes.
do you recommend, aside from dating apps, how do you recommend people meet in real life organically?
This is where you have to sit down with yourself and really reflect. Number one, either what is a hobby that I'm interested in picking up where I could meet people? Number
Hmm.
two, what am I already interested at right now that I could also meet a community, like joining communities outside, going coffee shops, libraries. There's a lot of activities there,
Networking is
bookstores,
big.
networking,
Hmm.
a lot of places. It's just a matter of putting yourself out there, but also sitting down with yourself and knowing, like, okay, what am I as a person? What type of life? Your lifestyle reflects a lot of the demographic that you're going to meet too.
Very true.
So, really, if you really want high caliber, let's say women or men, you have to
Hmm.
also look at your lifestyle and ask yourself, is my lifestyle right now bringing me closer to the type of person that I want to meet, or is it bringing it farther? Because if it's bringing
Right.
you farther, then you have to reassess, okay, so what do I have to work on for myself to bring me closer to that kind of people? So, yeah.
So let's say they do go to these in-person events, a hobby, a meetup, what have you in real life. What do you recommend them to do? Like, do you recommend they chat up with the woman? Do you
Yeah,
recommend they
just
ask her out?
it's
How?
no,
Because why?
not, no, not yet.
Okay, friends.
Yeah, this is where the
Mm,
organic happens. This is where you
okay.
just let, okay, the more you force something to happen fast, the more it won't happen.
Yes. Oh,
And this is
very true.
why we establish familiarity and proximity.
Friendship. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Like the more they see you, even you don't introduce yourself, the more they get familiar with you, the more comfortable they are with you. And so it's just like exposing yourself outside is so important and just putting yourself out there in those places. At the same time, when you are introducing yourself to a person, of course, just let them know you as
Yeah.
like, oh, yes, this is me. I'm now in your network. That's it. And
Right.
then at least when you guys see each other or not, or when something happens or not, that's where you have to let things unfold naturally. You don't
Right.
immediately just ask for, when you see somebody interesting, let's say, you don't just
Yeah.
immediately ask for their number. That's how it's
Hey,
kind of
what's your
like,
number?
exactly, it's
No.
off already. Basically, if you
First, just
start with
have a
like,
casual
yeah,
conversation.
yeah, exactly, like a
Mm,
meet cute.
okay.
That's how
Yeah.
meet cute happens. It's just like something happens, or you're in a event coincidentally, and then you just started up like a conversation, or you guys are paired up in some,
Yeah.
allow the universe or God to just bring you somewhere and let you meet somewhere and take that opportunity when it is presented to you. Approach
Right.
somebody that you are interested in, not with an intention of like, I want her number, but just with an intention of like, I just want to get to know this person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what people are getting wrong because they're trying to rush it.
Exactly. No, don't
Yeah.
rush it. No.
Okay.
Has to unfold
Right.
organically. Yeah.
So true. And I think the best relationships start as friendships, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the best romantic relationship should be a strong friendship. Well, what are the patterns you see most often in the men who come to you? And how do those patterns trace back to earlier experiences or beliefs?
Well, a lot of them are, again, a lot of them are very scared of rejection,
Insecure.
insecure. They have low self-esteem. And the problem right now is this is where they get stuck in dating. Like
Mm,
sometimes they use this as an excuse to, I don't know where to go out, but they do. They just don't put themselves out there because they're scared to be seen or be vulnerable. Because if people find out who they really are, they're going to get
gonna
rejected, right?
reject them. And that's why they're
Exactly.
avoidant because they'd
Exactly.
rather push people away than get
Yeah,
close.
yeah, yeah. It's not like the thing with avoidance is like it's not that they don't want it, it's just like they don't know what to do with it when people do see them. They don't know how to interact or talk with women, and some of them haven't even had any dates ever since they were born.
Well,
Yeah, because
wow.
they were really struggling with a lot of their self-perception. And this
Hmm.
is why I'm a huge advocate for like men's mental health because it really
Yeah.
affects them. This is why it's,
Therapy. I
yeah,
talk about it
exactly.
quite a bit on this show.
Yeah,
Yes, I
it's
agree.
promoting a lot of the male loneliness epidemic too, just because they're taught to like suppress their emotions when in
Yeah,
reality they can process it. And it's okay to feel things. It's okay to cry. It's okay to show their emotions because if they don't and they hold it in,
just gonna get worse.
exactly. And this is what kind of like makes like all of their limiting beliefs worse.
Going
Yeah.
off of that, I feel like I've noticed that more men tend to be avoidant versus women. Do you tend to agree with that? Do you have any rationale as to why that is? Is it because they were taught to suppress their emotions?
Yeah, but the funny thing
I mean,
is,
it's not always, right? There are
not
plenty
always.
of anxious men and avoidant women
Be
who
people who don't want help but also need
suppress it,
help are the avoidants. They're like, I don't
right?
need your help. I'm doing really well in dating. And they're the ones who are like
Pushing
hard to
everyone
crack
away.
because they're always saying, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm pretty confident. I'm like, I'm getting all the women. It's just like, it's so hard to progress it to the next date.
Mm,
Avoidant. They're like
yeah.
that. But
Or
at
they
this,
intentionally choose someone who's wrong for them because they don't want a true connection.
yeah, yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't because they're gonna find out if they do have somebody.
Who truly sees them.
Exactly.
Well, can you share a client story without naming any names that really illustrates what's possible when a man does this work?
Yeah. One of my clients who just recently graduated, he has very low self-esteem. I remembered he was having a hard time progressing dates. He was very soft-spoken and it's just like very awkward. He doesn't know
Shy.
what to do. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't know what to do. And he's overthinking about like women's cues, even though it's already obvious that the woman likes him. And so nothing has progressed ever since. And the last relationship he had were very toxic just because he thinks that, like some when you're waiting for somebody's potential,
Hmm.
okay, probably if I wait a little bit, they're gonna get better. So that has happened to him before that brought him into like a lot of toxic relationships. But we work through that. We really dig deeper into what's going on. A lot of childhood work too,
Like inner child
inner
stuff.
child, yeah, inner child, and like a little bit of shadow work, and really digging deeper into what's stopping him. We honed in on like how he approached women, how he talks to them, and his limiting beliefs around what women really want. And after that, like he moved to a new city and actually found a girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Amazing.
and it was great because like every time we hop on sessions before, he was like, "Yeah, this is the type of woman I want. She's very understanding. She knows how to communicate." And we also, while they were already together, we also refined the type of communication he has so that he doesn't like, I don't know if you know the four horsemen of relationships,
No. What are
like
those?
stonewalling, contempt, criticism, and defensiveness. If you have those
Oh,
four in a relationship, for sure it's not going to work out. And if you
interesting.
don't overcome that, bye bye relationship. We worked on that too because he did mention that he tends to get defensive when there's big emotions and
Mm-hmm.
he stonewalls. So we worked through that as well so that he can maintain a good, healthy relationship and communication with his now current partner. So now he's happy. Yeah.
Wow. I feel like looking back to my ex and I was anxiously attached. He was avoidantly attached,
Hmm.
which tends to be they attract each other.
Yeah.
And I was very, very communicative. I'm very verbal. I talk a lot. I'm a big talker. And he was kind of the opposite. Like he kept things in. He didn't
Hmm.
always share things with me. I was kind of like playing a guessing game or trying to read his mind because he didn't verbalize what he was really feeling. And I'm just curious, is that a common trend with men and women? Like, do
Yeah. It's a
women
trap.
tend to be more of the talkers and men tend to be more of the kind of going inside, going into the little caves?
Yeah, it does happen. Based from your experience, that also happened to my previous experience too,
Yeah.
with my ex as well. It's like it is common with men to be like suppressing their emotions because
And not
society has,
verbalizing,
yeah, society has conditioned them to be like, okay, emotions are for the weak. It's not
compartmentalize.
exactly, it's not masculine, but at the same time, you have to regulate your emotion in order to balance both of your feminine and masculine side because your feminine side is needed to communicate to women. You need to be vulnerable, you need to be nurturing, you need to also learn how to relate with women in a very emotional way. And I think vice versa with women, this is why we also have to cultivate our masculine side so we also know how to relate with men as well when it comes to their logical side, their action side. At the
Hmm.
same time, it's like, yeah, it is a trap. Not only for just men and women in general, but I see this happening in men who are anxiously attached and women who are like avoidant. It happens on both sides. So it is a common trap for them to fall like, oh, I'm gonna chase you while you're running away, please.
And then the
Yeah.
cycle just continues. Push and pull, push and pull.
Mhm.
It's a very interesting attachment style. Okay, I have one last question and then we'll get into my rapid fire section. So, what does showing up with presence actually mean in a dating context? And what does that look like in a real conversation or on a real date?
Showing up for presence, meaning like you're paying attention. A lot of
Just
the
being
times
present.
there, it's a
Yeah.
lot of times because men are so focused on the right things to say and what to do that they're not there
They're thinking about like
listening.
what they should do.
Yeah, like really paying
Mm,
attention to how she's moving, her body gestures, how she lights up when she says something, how
mm,
she brings up a conversation or how she brings up a certain topic, what she's wearing, what she's eating, what she's doing, where her hair is at when she's talking, like just paying
yeah.
attention, just being there. Just it's I don't know. Don't you find it sexy when a man is so observant that he pointed something out that you didn't even notice? Like, you know what? I noticed that you
Yeah.
light up when you talk about this topic. Oh,
Yeah.
really?
So rare though. It's
Like
rare,
it's
but
like that.
yes.
Like, oh yeah, I remember you told me about this before. I know you like this. So I remembered you and I texted you. It's just like, oh my God, you were paying. It's like that, paying
Yeah.
attention because presence equals you're paying attention. And
Right.
that attention brings you a long way because now we feel like we're being valued.
Yeah.
So that's why presence is so important when you're overthinking and you're in your head a lot. You won't remember that. Yeah, I don't know if you know the 5 4 3 2 1 grounding technique.
No, what is that?
I don't
Counting
remember.
backwards?
I don't remember specifically, but basically everything that you can see, hear, taste, smell, and feel in your surroundings, you're gonna
Mm,
notice. So this is
right.
one of the grounding techniques that I encourage my clients to do when they are talking to a woman, just because the more you pay attention around your surroundings, the more present that you will become. And then
Yeah.
you can drop from your head to your body. That's
So
very
true.
important when you are talking to somebody because now you're now actually able to pay attention. What you can hear, what she's saying. What
Right.
you can see, how she's moving. What you can smell, probably her perfume that she's wearing. And
Mm-hmm.
then the taste is just like probably if you guys are eating anything. Touch is like the sensations that you're feeling around you that you're noticing. Or probably how it feels when you accidentally brush on her elbow. Kind of like that.
Right.
Just noticing those little things is so important because, of course, the little things are important to us. So the more men notice that, it's like, okay, you are actually paying attention. And we find that very
Yeah.
valuable.
Maybe they're thinking about like their laundry list of things to do. Maybe they're thinking about what should I say next or whatever. And just being
Yeah.
present keeps you in the moment. And I think, I mean, we didn't talk about this at all either, but I think what's really missing in a lot of today's modern dating is just the romance, just the sheer enjoyment of like having a connection with someone, having chemistry with them. And I think when you make dating so transactional and such a like exchange, it
Yeah.
takes away the romance and we need to
Yeah.
not forget about it, even though it
The
might sound
whimsy of
silly.
it.
Yeah, exactly. No, no, no. Exactly. The sensation of it. And I think a lot of us we forget about that. So great tips.
Mm.
Okay, Shelley. So I'm going to do my little rapid fire section. So just answer the next few questions with the first thing that comes to mind. Rapid fire. So
Okay.
are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night
Coffee or tea?
tea.
What is the best date you've ever been on? No need to name names, just the overall vibe.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Why can't I think of a best date? I don't
The
think I have.
best date? Really? Come on.
Just kidding. No, just kidding.
What about the
Best
worst date?
worst date is, I guess worst date is basically like,
When they invite you to like hang out at their house.
yeah, yeah.
Ugh.
No,
That's not
not
a
that.
date. That's like them trying to get you in
Yeah,
bed.
yeah, no, exactly. No, thank you.
What is the biggest green flag you can spot in 10 minutes? Green flag.
Oh, when they repeat what I say to
Right.
affirm it, it's like, oh, okay, you are there. I
Or they
love it.
notice those small details,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah,
said.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
about what's the biggest red flag on a date?
When they don't pay attention. I really don't like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not present, exactly as we said. Dating apps, are they overrated or underrated?
Overrated.
I think everyone would agree on that question. Kind of a silly question. What is one thing that men do that immediately turns women off that men don't realize they're doing?
Oh, what a rapid fire. Why can't I think of something? When
Is it
they're
those photos, like the
uh,
formative photos?
I think it's more
No.
like the trend of look maxing.
Yeah. Can you
Like
explain for the audience who might not know what looks maxing is?
basically just trying to appear or look a certain way so that they can get women's attention, like focusing so much on the physical appearance. It's just like, oh, look at me, I look so good. No, no.
I feel like women are doing that too, though, especially with all the plastic surgery and
Yeah,
fillers and Botox, and it's like
yeah,
female looks maxing. But yes,
yeah.
it's crazy times. What is the worst dating advice you've ever heard?
Just stick through it if you love them.
Oh yeah, that's
I don't like
yeah.
that. It's not, love is not enough.
Yeah, I agree. I think like we learned that as children, like, oh, love conquers all,
Yeah,
it's gonna be this fairy tale ending happily ever
ever
after.
after. Mhm.
And unfortunately, love does not conquer all. You need to be
No.
compatible, you need to want the same things, have the same values. And ultimately, I mean, I can attest to that personally. My ex and I, we loved each other a lot. There was no absence of love, but we just were not compatible long term. We
Mhm.
didn't want the same things.
Yeah.
And it's tough, but ultimately you need to want the same future.
Yep.
Otherwise, one of you or both of you will be
Will
very unhappy.
resent.
Okay, finish this sentence. A confident man is one who blank.
A confident man is a one who has a great humor.
Oh, yes. He loves himself, right? We
Yeah,
said on the
exactly.
inside. What is one question every man should ask himself before going on a date?
What is my intention going on today's date?
Okay. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good one. Their
yeah,
presence.
yeah.
Okay, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Shelley, for your time. This was so fun. Before we wrap up, for anyone listening who wants to learn more about your work, explore dating with confidence, or just follow along, where's the best place to find you?
So I'm mainly active on Instagram, which is at Shelley Badayos, SHELLEYBADAYOS. Or you can
Okay.
go to my website at go.datingwithconfidence.com/datingwithconfidence.
Okay. Amazing.
Yeah.
I will link all of that in the show notes of the episode. Thank you so much again. And thank you all for watching another episode of Natalie Saves the World, one podcast at a time. We didn't save the world today, but we did have an honest conversation about one of the most important questions in modern dating. How do we actually find each other when we're all speaking different languages, men and women? Shelley, thank you so much for your time, your candor, and for bringing so much compassion to work that genuinely changes people's lives and relationships. And to everyone watching, if this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend or someone you know who's dating and struggling, or share it with someone who loves someone who's struggling to show up, or just with anyone who believes that love is worth doing better and modern dating is not working well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I really do read them, and I love hearing from all of you. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks again, Shelley.